The first rule was spoken not as a suggestion but as a commandment carved into the bones of galactic history: do not harm, abduct, or attack human children. It was a rule older than many empires, older than countless starfaring nations, older even than the Council of Concordance that sought to unify laws across 1,000 species. The origin of this rule was veiled in silence, yet no race that still existed dared to question it. It was not superstition. It was survival. The galaxy had long learned that laws born of terror are laws worth respecting. And this rule was born in terror. Records remained vague, as if deliberately erased. Fragments survived in whispers. Ancient archives spoke of civilizations that had risen proud, mighty, unshaken by war, only to vanish within a single generation after violating this rule. The ruin they left behind bore no explanation, only the mark of absence: silent planets where once laughter had thrived, husks of fleets drifting in cold orbits, ash-choked worlds stripped of defiance. No one could agree on the details, but all agreed on the truth: those who touched human children did not endure. Pirates, raiders, warlords, even monstrous species with little regard for morality, all avoided the taboo. They would raid human convoys, sabotage colonies, even clash with human fleets, but none dared strike the young. The memory of annihilation lingered like a shadow no one wished to awaken. But arrogance breeds contempt, and contempt blinds even the most cunning powers. The Galactic Empire rose upon conquest, industrial dominance, and an unshakable belief in its superiority. Its rulers viewed taboos as the shackles of weaker species. They mocked superstitions, stripped traditions from conquered races, and called themselves the heirs of reason. When whispers reached their council chambers about the ancient human law, they laughed. What were humans but predators from a dangerous rock? What were children but tools of leverage? To the Empire, the rule was nothing but fear dressed in myth. They considered themselves immune to consequences. The plan was crafted in secrecy, though secrecy in an empire so vast was always imperfect. Rumors leaked into the void, spreading across merchant lanes and smuggler dens. The Empire was preparing to violate the forbidden. Some dismissed it as propaganda designed to tarnish their reputation, but those who had lived long enough knew better. The Empire's military planners grew arrogant with each victory. They had beaten insectoid hive fleets, crushed silicon-based warforms, absorbed star kingdoms older than Earth itself. To them, humanity was another obstacle, another rival too stubborn to kneel. And so, in their war councils, they decided to test the forbidden. A human colony sat at the edge of mapped space, a small but thriving settlement known less for its strategic value and more for its children. The Empire's agents scouted it, watched its defenses, and found nothing beyond modest fortifications and local militia. The generals believed this weakness a perfect stage to send their message. They would strike swiftly, abduct children, and use them as hostages to shackle humanity. They imagined Earth kneeling, bowing, humbled. They imagined the rule of silence breaking under their will. They believed myths would shatter when faced with their legions. The assault came as expected. Imperial raiders descended in force, plasma lances igniting the dark. Human defenses fired desperately, but the Empire's ships were larger, stronger, seasoned in conquest. The militia fought with ferocity, yet ferocity could not match overwhelming numbers. The raiders broke through, landing troops upon soil that had never known a conqueror's tread. They stormed homes, tore families apart, and seized children whose cries echoed into the night. The invaders broadcast their triumph, images of captured human youth shackled in chains. To them, this was victory. To the galaxy, it was horror. For every species watching, a chill deeper than cold space spread through their veins. Smugglers whispered warnings. Mercenaries swore oaths of silence. Traders changed course, avoiding Imperial patrols. Whole systems pulled fleets inward, unwilling to be near what was coming. Old veterans who remembered half-buried wars muttered in fear, their voices cracking as they repeated words taught long ago. They have broken the rule. They have awakened what should never wake. The Empire celebrated in its arrogance. Their propaganda networks spread the images wide, declaring humanity broken. Imperial officers boasted of their cunning, praising the message they had carved into galactic consciousness. No law binds the Empire. No superstition dictates its strength. They paraded the children in front of cameras, mocking humanity with the very innocence they believed to have conquered. But while they laughed, silence answered them. A silence that was not surrender, but the quiet of a predator choosing its moment. Humanity's leaders did not scream or rage in public. They did not petition the Council for aid. They did not broadcast threats into the void. They simply went quiet. Quiet in the way that storms go quiet before thunder. Quiet in the way predators crouch before striking. Then came the first sign. An Imperial patrol fleet vanished without transmitting distress. Scanners reported nothing, only static. Hours later, its wreckage was found drifting at the edge of an asteroid belt. Every hull was torn open from within. No survivors. No escape pods. No warning. In the wreckage, someone had carved into steel with tools not recorded in Imperial design. Return the children. The Empire dismissed it at first. A fluke. Pirates. An anomaly. Yet the disappearances multiplied. Border garrisons lost contact. Supply convoys never arrived. Colonies loyal to the Empire reported silent skies, their defense fleets gone. Ships that should have been secured deep within Imperial space turned into graveyards of twisted metal. No enemy was seen. No enemy could be tracked. Only the aftermath remained, and always the same message etched in fire, blood, or steel. Return the children. Fear began to gnaw at the edges of certainty. Admirals grew restless. Senators whispered behind closed doors. Intelligence officers sifted through fragments, each report darker than the last. No one could understand how humans were striking so deep, so surgically, without detection. No one understood why they left no witnesses. The galaxy understood, however. The whispers returned. The Deathworlders have awakened. Across neutral space, traders abandoned Imperial contracts. Smugglers refused gold and fuel. Even mercenary companies, known to fight for any coin, turned their backs. The taboo had been broken, and no one wished to share the consequences. Old species who remembered fragments of vanished empires evacuated their colonies near Imperial borders. Some even destroyed their own space stations, preferring ruin to proximity. The galaxy was shrinking from the Empire, isolating it like diseased flesh. The Empire, blinded by pride, pressed forward. They had broken the rule, and those shadows now crept through their borders. They believed themselves untouchable. Their fleets still numbered in the millions. Their armies still spanned worlds. Their propaganda still held citizens in chains. But those who had lived long enough knew numbers meant nothing now. The Empire had not simply made an enemy. They had woken humanity's truest nature. Humanity did not issue ultimatums. They did not waste words on empty threats or hollow warnings. Their message had already been delivered in silence and ruin, etched across the scattered debris of Imperial fleets. The galaxy waited, terrified, because all understood what silence meant when it came from Earth. It meant the reckoning had begun. The Empire's leaders, wrapped in arrogance, mistook the silence for hesitation. They believed humanity still debated its response, still considered the cost of war, still weighed diplomacy. But humanity was not hesitating. Humanity was preparing. On Earth and across every colony, every shipyard roared to life. Factories that once produced goods for trade now forged weapons at a scale unseen in centuries. Technologies thought retired or outlawed were reactivated without hesitation. Projects buried under layers of secrecy emerged from shadowed vaults, designed for wars the galaxy prayed would never come. Within days, fleets that had lain dormant in hidden reserves surged into the stars. But these were not massive armadas like the Empire commanded. Humanity did not march in endless legions. Their war was not one of attrition, but of precision. Where the Empire wielded blunt force, humanity wielded the scalpel of fury. Small strike fleets left dockyards under coded silence. their trajectories concealed even from allies. Entire fleets disappeared into black space, beyond detection. The first counterstrikes shattered illusions of Imperial supremacy. At the border of the Orion Reach, 3 Imperial shipyards fell within hours. Not to overwhelming fleets, but to sudden, surgical precision. Human ships bypassed layer defenses, as if they were not there. They slipped past minefields, danced through gravitational distortions, and appeared within the heart of fortified systems. In less than a day, 3 shipyards that had supplied the Empire for centuries burned, their wreckage lighting the void. Not a single human vessel was destroyed, and every Imperial warship stationed in defense was reduced to debris. Across the Empire's communications grid, the message appeared once more. No broadcasts, no transmissions, no captured channels. It simply appeared, carved into every surviving hull, painted across the ruins of stations, left etched into orbital debris. Return the children. Panic rippled through the Empire's officer corps. Their doctrine had no answer for an enemy that moved unseen, struck without warning, and left nothing but ruin. Some commanders urged caution, suggesting negotiations, but they were silenced by the Empire's arrogance. Negotiation was weakness. Fear was weakness. To admit fault would be to unravel the illusion of invincibility. And so the order came down from the Imperial High Command: mobilize the fleets. Strike back. Crush Earth before its fury could spread. Massive Imperial armadas surged into human space, confident in their numbers. Their doctrine had always been overwhelming force, the belief that no enemy could stand before endless firepower. But humanity's war was not fought in numbers. It was fought in unpredictability. In one system after another, Imperial fleets arrived to find no defenders. They believed they had forced humanity to retreat, only to realize too late they had been led into traps. In the Chiron Expanse, an Imperial fleet of 500 warships was lured into a dense asteroid field. Human vessels darted between rocks with impossible agility, their smaller frames perfectly suited for the chaos of terrain. The Empire's massive capital ships lumbered helplessly, their bulk turning them into targets. In hours, what should have been a decisive strike became a slaughter. Wreckage drifted in silence, shattered by precision strikes and kinetic bombardments that turned asteroids themselves into weapons. Humanity fought not with brute force, but with ingenuity born of desperation and honed by survival on their homeworld. Elsewhere, human special forces infiltrated deep into Imperial space. Where the Empire relied on overwhelming occupation armies, humanity relied on surgical sabotage. Entire fuel depots detonated within hours of one another. Communications networks collapsed under coordinated cyber assaults, leaving fleets blind and isolated. On supply worlds, entire food stocks were poisoned beyond reclamation, not to kill civilians, but to starve the war machine. The Empire's logistics, vast and seemingly unshakable, crumbled in weeks under human hands. Still, the Empire pressed forward, unable to admit vulnerability. They declared victories even as fleets vanished, declared strength even as their citizens panicked. Imperial propaganda showed fabricated triumphs, carefully edited battles where humanity was shown fleeing in terror. But no lie could conceal the truth from those who lived through it. Survivors of massacres spread whispers, and whispers became terror. They spoke of human ships appearing from nowhere, firing with uncanny precision, disappearing before counterattacks could be launched. They spoke of soldiers who fought like demons, wielding every environment, every resource, every object as a weapon. They spoke of an enemy that seemed less like an army and more like a force of nature. The galaxy listened. Neutral races withdrew further, their borders sealed. Traders refused Imperial contracts entirely, ships vanishing from trade lanes that once thrived. Mercenaries who once sold their loyalty for coin now swore openly they would never cross humanity's path. Even predators who once laughed at humans now spoke their names with caution, remembering that a predator that defends its young is the most dangerous of all. Within the Empire itself, cracks began to show. Entire garrisons deserted their posts, unwilling to face the wrath of Deathworlders. Colonies rebelled, emboldened by the Empire's failures. In distant sectors, governors declared independence, calculating that survival meant abandoning imperial banners before humanity's fire consumed them as well. Still, the imperial throne refused to relent. Their pride outweighed reason. They launched an even greater counteroffensive, mobilizing fleets larger than most civilizations had ever seen. Thousands of warships surged into human space, believing that sheer numbers would finally smother resistance. Humanity did not retreat. They welcomed them. In the Desharan corridor, the largest imperial fleet in centuries clashed with what appeared to be a token human defense force. Imperial commanders boasted, declaring victory even before battle began. But then the stars themselves betrayed them. Gravitational anomalies ripped across the system, weapons of human design bending space-time into weapons. The Empire's mighty fleet was torn apart, ships colliding with one another, shields collapsing under stresses their engineers had never considered. In hours, the largest Imperial armada ever assembled was annihilated, its wreckage a testament to arrogance meeting ingenuity. The lesson spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Humanity did not fight as others did. They did not measure victory in territory gained or battles won. They fought with one purpose only: to protect their own. And against that purpose, nothing could stand. The Empire's propaganda faltered. Too many survivors told the truth. Too many ships failed to return. Too many worlds, once loyal, now burned under rebellion. The image of invincibility cracked, and when it cracked, fear poured in. No decree from the throne could silence the terror that now spread among imperial citizens.